What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, the January transfer window news show, which is basically the January transfer window no news show. And I'm already well and truly tired of the nonsensical speculation that ties us with every striker. We've been linked with Mbappe. Looks like he's going to Real Madrid. Surprise! We've been linked with Ivan Toney since September. That looks out of the question now. Look, we know we don't have the money to be buying Victor Osimhen or Ivan Toney in this transfer window. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It seems as though we're doing our best to stay within profit and sustainability regulations, which I'm quite grateful for. If the leadership of the club are staying within those limits and avoiding the kind of draconian fines meted out to Everton, why is that a bad thing? And it's also because this transfer window has just been about people telling Arsenal what we need in the team. We need a striker. We don't score enough goals. We scored enough goals last season. We didn't have a striker. It's not quite clicking at Arsenal, but it's not the end of the world either. We're 5 points off the lead. We've come back from worse positions to win the league. It's the constant negativity is a drain. And let's be honest, who are we really looking to sign in the January transfer window that's going to make such a huge difference to our season? Just who is it? There are a couple of things that Mikel Arteta said in a recent press conference, which I've been mulling over and I think were really well observed and on the money. First of all, he addressed the impracticality of us signing a striker in this transfer window. Didn't rule it out, but said it's unlikely and we should know that. But he also said it's not necessarily about what you bring in. It's about getting the best out of what you have. These are not players who've never done it before. These are players who've scored freely, played attacking football. These are good players who've proven themselves capable of a title challenge. And we're only 5 points behind the league leaders, Liverpool. So definitely not an insurmountable problem that we're facing. But it's also this idea that you solve any problem by just throwing money at it. And I think it's true to say that there are very few problems in life you can't make go away by spending enough money. But football gives you plenty of examples where that's not the case. And yesterday's match between Middlesbrough and Chelsea had so much for us to learn from. Because you had that team that cost £1 billion, managed by supposedly one of the great managers in the world. I don't rate Pochettino. I've never really understood why people do. But I'm biased. Obviously he's ex-Spurs. I know it's not easy for Chelsea fans to stomach that either, which makes it such a surprise signing. But I just think this is one of the things that's irritating about Arsenal fans. We are crying about how we haven't won the Premier League, how we came close, how we didn't do enough, and we didn't sign enough, and we haven't spent enough, and nothing's good enough. And I just think, looking on as another fan, let's say you're a Middlesbrough fan, cry me a river. How tough it is to be an Arsenal fan. We've had some low points this season. We've had some great highs as well. Declan Rice's first goal for the club, the winner against Luton. We have these moments of huge excitement over the last 2 seasons, which I wouldn't swap for anything. So this transfer window with the pointless speculation, with the fact we don't actually have any money, the fact it's really difficult to bring in players in January generally, and the idea that there isn't actually one player any of us can unify behind to think he would be the person to come in and change our season. All right, maybe Jude Bellingham, maybe Kylian Mbappe, but that was never going to happen. What Arteta said is we need to focus on what we have. I agree with that. But he also said that it's a difference between looking at something through a microscope and a telescope. With a microscope on our recent performances, we are woeful. We create too many chances we don't take, and sometimes we just second to every ball, don't fight enough. We lack character. Now, we have seen that character, so we know we don't really lack it. And the microscope isn't telling us the whole story. The telescope, to look at where we were in that game against Frankfurt under Unai Emery, his last game in charge, with a half-empty stadium, a total lack of direction, no passion anywhere. Yes, this season has been tough at times, but it's also been great at times as well. And so fans of Chelsea watching us complaining about our team must wonder what we're doing. But if they're wondering, what are Middlesbrough fans wondering? I remember in '97, they played 2 cup finals and got relegated. They've never really won anything. They've never won the Premier League. They've never won the First Division. Their fans still turned up and still seem to somehow enjoy their day. Let us not forget to enjoy the great moments. It's not all about trophies. Chelsea's got loads of trophies. Doesn't help them right now. Now is what we have. Now we find ourselves in the midst of a process. I know there are many who don't like to hear the word process because we live in a sort of Amazon Prime, I want the league right now time. This is the world we inhabit. We want everything and we want it as soon as possible or sooner. And that's just not realistic. We lost the league last season to one of the world's greatest teams. This season, a resurgent Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, who is a remarkable manager. And Pep Guardiola, who's just won the World Club Cup and looks like he's got his Man City purring again, and Kevin De Bruyne's back. Look, there's plenty of reason to think we won't win the league this season, but there's also hope. And while we have hope, we should be positive. And this transfer window is not making me positive. I think this break that they're all on in Dubai will galvanise them. They'll come back renewed, reinvigorated, rejuvenated and ready. And as fans, who would you swap with? Do you want to be a City fan? No. So we don't need a transfer window to put us on the right track. We can beat Porto in the Champions League last 16. Perhaps we can get all the way to the final. We can still put a charge together. We can beat Liverpool at home. This is all doable. City could still have a massive wobble. Pep Guardiola might leave and take over the England job before Gareth Southgate can ruin the tournament for us. I don't know. Anyway, my plan to do a transfer window news show every single day to cover the stories of people coming in was an ill-considered idea because I don't really think anyone's coming in. And if they do, it's unlikely to be someone you can expect to make the difference in winning the Premier League. Are there weaknesses in the squad? Yes. Should we have done better in the January? Should we have done better in the summer transfer window? Yes. Would I like to see Mikel Arteta play some youngsters? This is the time, I think, to do it. Raul Walters, let's see some of him. Better substitutions, slightly better rotation. All of these things I think we can improve on. But we can still do this. I'm still positive. And judging by the poll I put out right after the FA Cup game, where spirits were at their nadir, the poll I ran was, is Arsenal season already over? Initially, it was about 3-1 saying yes. Now it's balanced out. We're all starting to get our character back. Nothing gets handed to you. You have to fight for it. And that's us as well as fans. You have to shout the loudest. Like the Borough fans yesterday chanting their team to victory. We can do that too. And I'm starting to look forward to the Crystal Palace game because this could be the start of the renaissance. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm totally mad. If you want to hear more from the transfer window, if you want to hear more speculation, I am, of course, going to still cover the big stories, but I'm just probably not going to do it every day. It's too depressing. And I'm upbeat. So, having had a glass of Courvoisier, I entreat you to have a good evening. And until I see you again, be lucky and lots of love.